Welcome back, friends. Today we are going to do a little sit down video. I feel like I haven't sat down and actually talked to you guys or made any sort of sit down video in a long time. It's definitely been a long time. Actually, it hasn't. It's been a couple of months probably. I think I did this video. I'll put it either whichever corner it goes in. I think it's that one. A sit down, basically a Q&A video 2 or 3 months ago. So if you haven't seen that, definitely go check it out. But yeah, I feel like we should just sit down and chat. And I've been thinking about this topic a lot lately. And I know a lot of you guys who watch my videos are kind of getting started in horses and are in the late elementary, middle school age where you really want to get involved with horses. So I wanted to make this video because this is one of the topics and questions I get asked a ton about on my channel is how do I get my parents to let me have a horse? So I have some notes written down because I've thought about it and it's just one of those things. I always think about it all the time and I've never just sat down and made a whole video about it. I always just kind of go on tangents in my vlogs or in my Q&As. So I just wanted to make this video specifically dedicated to this topic. How do you get your parents to let you have a horse? Why won't your parents let you have a horse? My step one to figuring this out, the first thing that you have to do is figure out why your parents won't let you have a horse. And then basically after that, you really just have to figure out how to work with them. So usually it's because, one, do they not want to pay for it? If you want a horse, do your parents not want to pay for it? Can they pay for it? Second, do they think you won't stick with it? And third, they're afraid you'll get hurt. So those are typically the reasons that I find are the most common for why parents won't let their kids get horses. Here's what I'm going to tell all of you 9, 10, 11-year-old girls that watch my channel, because I know a lot of you are in that age or even like in the middle school range. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Horses cost money. Your parents don't want to pay for it. My parents didn't want to pay for it. I am not near as far in my horse career as a lot of girls my age are because my parents didn't want to pay for it either. I got a way later start. I didn't get as good of a start as so many people my age because my parents were in the same boat. They didn't want to pay for it either. I was very fortunate for my dad to buy me my first 2 horses. He got them very cheap. They were not like well-broke horses at all. But he didn't want to pay for it either. I never was even in a lesson program. Nothing. I got the horses, a few pieces of tack for him. There I was. That was all that I got. And I'm very fortunate and very grateful that I even got those things or I never would have started. But horses cost a lot of money and their care costs a lot of money. So most parents are in the boat where they don't want to pay for it or they can't pay for it. A lot of people, especially with multiple kids, are in a financial situation where they can't pay for it all. And especially depending on where you live, it can vary a lot how much the cost of living and the cost of keeping a horse is. If a lot of parents are going to think that you're not going to stick with it because in case you guys didn't know, the majority of the horse world is girls and women. The majority of girls at a young age go through a horse phase. So this phase usually is elementary school age, and sometimes they'll stick with it through middle school. But you're going to have to expect that your parents thinking you're in that horse phase, that you really just want a horse. But most girls that are in the horse phase, they don't stick with it. They grow out of it eventually. So do you want to stick with it is the biggest thing you have to ask yourself. So if your parents don't think you're going to stick with it for a while, talk to them about getting started in a lesson program because you don't have to just start out by buying a horse at all. That's probably the worst thing you can do, honestly. Start by taking lessons. Almost every boarding facility around will give lessons. Even people, family, friends that have horses will let you come out, spend some time with their horses, spend some time at a horse farm or in a barn and take some lessons and see if it's something that is going to last a while. Lastly, There are some parents that I've met that either had a bad experience when they were a child or are just very paranoid and don't want their kids to get hurt. Really, that's something that you have to address with your parents, why they don't want you to get hurt so bad. Talk about health insurance, because if they don't have health insurance, then that's a really big issue. Going back to my parents don't want to pay for it, my parents can't pay for it, because typically that's the most common reason of why they won't let you get a horse. Or if you've been in lessons and they still won't let you buy a horse, it's probably because they can't afford it or don't want to pay all the money to keep a horse. So I'm going to give you like the biggest, most far out tip that I don't think anybody else gives very commonly. Crazy idea. Don't ask your parents to pay for it. Some parents are all about it and will pay for the lessons and will help you out if you need it, as long as you're going to be dedicated and stick with the horse long term. But one of the biggest ways to win your parents over or to really help out your situation is to not ask your parents to pay for it. And I know that when you're a kid, it is so hard. You're like, well, how am I going to pay for it? I'm 12. I can't get a job. Guys, I was in the exact same boat. I was in the same exact boat as that. Like I said, my parents didn't want to pay for nothing. I wasn't even involved. I never even went to lessons or nothing. When I was 12, that is when I had to start figuring out, how am I going to pay for this stuff? Because my dad said, I'm not paying for your horse's hooves to get trimmed. I'm not paying for them to get their shots. You got to figure it out. Sorry. And it was really hard on me as a kid. And I don't think, a side of me really believes that wasn't fair. But also on the bright side of that situation, it taught me so much financial skills, so many financial skills. I am very fortunate to do really well with my money now because of that life lesson that my dad forced me to learn. So from there, I never asked him to pay for it. I bought all of their feed. I paid to get their hooves trimmed. Eventually, I just learned how to do it myself. I paid for their vaccines. And I was very young at the time, and it was really, really hard. But I knew that I had these horses to take care of, and I didn't want to get rid of them or lose them. So I had to figure out a way. So if you're not old enough to get your own job, if you are old enough to get a job, that's one thing, because then there's really no excuse why, if your parents don't want to pay for it, you can't, because you have your own job. If you're not old enough to get your own job, find any way to make money. That is what I did. I found any possible way I could make a few extra dollars. If you babysit, I was not into babysitting, so didn't do that. But if you babysit, that is such a great way to make money, because parents are looking for people to watch their kids all the time. Babysitting, I took so many cans back to the store. I collected pop cans and pop bottles like no other. I still do. If I see a pop can on the ground, I pick it up and I take it home and I put it in my bin, because that stuff is worth money. So collect all the pop bottles and all the cans that you can find. Take those back. Save every single penny. Save up all of your money. Do not spend it on stupid stuff. That is one phase that kids go through all the time when they're like 12 or 13. They just spend their money on dumb stuff that they don't need. Save all of it. Dog walking isn't a huge thing anymore, but if you can find people that will pay you to walk their dog, go for it. Clean houses, mow lawns, anything you can do to make a few extra dollars, do it. Tons of old people want somebody to mow their lawn because they can't do it. So figure out any possible way to make money. And if that means that money is paying for you to go to riding lessons, even if your parents will just let you enroll in riding lessons, if you offer to pay for it, awesome. All that they have to do then is sign the papers. And if you pay for your own lessons, a lot of parents will understand that, because then they're seeing that you're also making an effort. You're not just expecting them to pay for all of it. You're also making an effort yourself to show that you are responsible and you are capable of helping out and contributing. Another way to kind of get involved in lessons, a lot of times if you don't have the money, if you can find a barn, or if your parents can help you find a barn, What I did this at a lot of barns. I even still do this now. To keep my horse at one of the barns that I board at, I do chores. And so many barn owners will love that type of help. If you do chores, if you clean stalls, if you feed horses, they will let you ride or give you a lesson for free. So if you can find a barn or even like a family friend that has horses that will let you help with chores and just go out there and spend time with the horses, there's all kinds of people that will do that. A lot of horse people are really good people. So if you can find some boarding facilities or some lesson barns that will let you do that, that is such a great way to get started and get involved. And then even if down the line, if you're doing it for a while, and you can pick up some money from doing that too. So that is a great way to get started. One thing that is really hard to do when you're young and you're getting started, and if your parents do kind of let you get started in lessons and letting you hang out at the barn and stuff like that, the biggest advice that I have to give you younger kids, especially the kids in this day and age, don't push it. Don't push it any farther than that. If your parents are letting you go to the barn, they're letting you spend time with horses, they're letting you make some money to pay for your own lessons, anything, if they're letting you do it, don't push it. Do not push it any farther than that. Do not keep asking them for your own horse. In the household that I grew up in, if I kept pushing and I kept asking and I kept nagging about it, then it was just done altogether. So if your parents are letting you get started, are letting you have the freedom to do things on your own and to do it yourself, take it and run with it, and don't push it any farther than that. If you are able to pay for your own lessons for a while and you're able to stick with it and you're able to do chores for quite a while, I'm talking like a year or two, then a lot of parents are going to see that and see that you're capable and you're responsible enough and this isn't just a phase, and are going to work with you. But if you keep pushing and keep nagging about it, you're done. Very likely that's what's going to happen, is you're going to be done. Another thing that was really big for me when I was younger is that my parents, they let me go to horse camp a few times, and my mom, she would kind of start to help me with the horses because she knew they weren't going anywhere. So she would kind of be more lenient about it. Boy, don't ever get in trouble. The minute that I got in trouble, I got detention, or I just did anything in trouble at school or bad at school, it was gone. She was done, not helping me anymore. The horses are what got taken away. So like I said, if your parents, if they're working with you and are letting you do things, don't push it. Don't ever get in trouble, and be appreciative that they're letting you do it at all. Okay, that is my biggest advice in getting started. How to let your parents either let you get a horse, let you get started in horses, let you take lessons, you name it. That's my biggest advice, is to show your responsibility and show them that you're willing to contribute as well. The last thing that I'm going to talk about is if you are looking to get your own horse, add up all the expenses that you're going to have to be prepared for getting a horse. Add up all of it. And all of your guys' situations are different. That's the thing, is I can't tell you how much money getting a horse is going to cost or how much money owning a horse costs, because you guys ask me about that a lot. I can't tell you because all of your guys' situations are different. I can only tell you my situation and close friends of mine. So first of all, figure out where you live and how much keeping a horse is going to cost where you live. A lot of you guys have your own little farms, but if you don't, if you live in town, that's a whole different story. So you need to figure out about how much keeping a horse is going to cost you, if you can pay for it, if your parents can pay for it, and go from there, basically. You're going to have to figure out board. If you buy a horse, first you're going to have to figure out how much this horse you're buying is going to cost, because horses can cost $500, they can cost $10,000. It's a whole range. So the horse you want to buy, how much is it going to cost? Can you even buy it? Because buying the horse is the cheapest part. So got to buy the horse for one. Secondly is, where's this horse going to live? Can you board this horse? Is your horse going to live on your property? Huge, big difference there. Living on your property doesn't cost much. Boarding at a facility could cost a lot of money, so you got to figure that out. Food. If your horse is living at home, you have to feed it. So what's it going to cost you in hay? Can you afford to buy hay? Can you afford to buy feed? Vet and farrier. Those are giant expenses. Farriers, if this horse that you're buying needs shoes, that can cost you $100 every 2 months. So you're going to have to figure out vet and farrier bills. The vet should be giving your horses shots at least once a year. How much is that going to cost? What vet are you going to use? Because vets have different rates. The one that's closest to me charges an absolute insane amount of money. Other vets might not cost you as much. Are you going to show this horse, and are you going to take lessons? Because just because you're owning a horse doesn't mean you shouldn't be taking lessons. So if you're working up to buy your first horse, that doesn't mean you should quit lessons altogether. You definitely still need to take lessons, especially if you're learning. And are you going to show this horse? Showing obviously is totally optional, but if that's your long-term goal and that's what you want to do with horses, it also costs money. You have entry fees, you have clothing, you have transportation. How are you going to get to and from shows? Do you need a trailer? Do you need a truck? All kinds of different things. So figure out all your expenses and how much owning your horse is going to cost before going into asking your parents to get you one and before getting one yourself. So hopefully this helped you guys. I know a lot of you guys of my audience are younger, and sometimes just it's not what you want to hear. It's not what you want to hear, and your parents are difficult, and I get it. First world problems, right? But I get this question asked on my channel so much, so I wanted to sit down and just make a whole video talking about it with you guys, and I hope some of it was helpful and gave you a little insight onto what your parents might be thinking when they tell you no, you're not getting a horse. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like videos like this, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below. Also, we just hit 9,000 subscribers like 2 weeks ago or something, and I am just blown away. I cannot believe there's 9,000 people in the world that have seen my awkward face and self on a screen and actually listen to me talk. But thank you guys so much, and stick around because 10,000 subscribers, we're going to do another giveaway on here, and I'm super excited. So thank you guys so much for your support, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!